Okay, let's go over the cover letter assignment. This is a big and important assignment. We'll be using the stuff you create here numerous times throughout the class, so make sure to save this and all your other work as you go along. So this is going to be due on Wednesday, 10 o'clock on Wednesday. And it's 3 parts, really. The first part, you have to complete the Black Goose assignment from your text. This will require a thorough reading of Chapter 4. It looks something like this. Chapter 4, it starts on page, this assignment starts on page 53, entering content. Now, you don't actually have to type in the content. And I've supplied you with the images you're going to need later. You'll find those things on Moodle in the resource files folder, the Black Goose text and image. For these files in the resource folders, I strongly suggest you simply do a right-click and save link as or save target as, whatever the choice is in your browser, and put them in your folder, and then the same thing for the text. But you want to have a folder to start with, right? Where are you going to put these things? Let's talk about project folders and how they work. Okay. I'm working in my computer window, and I'm working in my Drive, for instance. Or actually, I'm in a different folder. Online Summer, okay, good. I could make a folder here called, for instance, Black Goose, which is what we would do. Make a new folder. This is going to be the project folder. Whoops, lowercase, no spaces, hyphens if you want, underscore if you want something like a space. Black Goose project. Okay, so everything goes inside the project folder. What is inside here, though? Inside the project folder, I suggest you usually make a folder called Originals. Originals is where you're going to put the stuff you use to make the web page, but it isn't really on the web page. And then you make what we call a root folder. We don't call this root. We usually give it the name of the actual website. Black Goose. And we'll say, your last name is a good thing to put here too. So, if it's really going to be on the website, for instance, like the Black Goose PNG, I will put it in the root folder. Save link as. I'm going to go find my root folder that I just made. However, I'm not going to bother with this download right now because I already have one. If I have a file which I'm going to use to make a file, but not really the file I'm going to use, this txt file, I'm going to put it in the Originals folder, outside of the root folder. And then later, the Black Goose Downs folder, the root folder, is the one that you zip and submit to Moodle. So got that straight. A project folder contains everything. Originals folder is for the stuff you might use. Images that aren't really on the page that may be resized later. Text in Word documents or TXT documents that you're going to put into the website, but you don't really use those. And the only thing that goes in the root folder is the really files that are really on the website, the HTML files, image files, etc. And that is what you zip and send to me. All right, well, let's continue. So you're going to go through the instructions there. It will have you doing some things like, oops, let me go find it. Excuse me, hold on. Okay. So you will have, as you see here, I have an Originals and a Black Goose Downs folder. I have multiple HTMLs, don't worry about that. When you start off, you're going to have to work with your blank text. You will be given this just as plain text here. There'll be no HTML structure around it. So you have to create the basic HTML structure. And if you haven't already, this would be a good time to make that kind of a blank file that you can use over and over again. I have a couple of them that I make, and I just copy them or open them up in Notepad++ and do a save as into my new root folder, so I don't have to retype that basic structure every time. You will add your own title. You will begin to add structure in this content, and of course you'll have your body and your HTML and all the other basic structure. You'll add the structure based on the instructions given in the assignment in the textbook. And the instructions for this run through the text for some distance. So we could continue along on these pages. You'd see that then we go on to adding basic structure. It's explained what things are H1, H2, and so on. Identifying text elements, defining the text elements. It's described how to do them. This text is the same text you have. And also how to add an image. That's described here. I want you to add an image. You have the image to add. And also, you're going to add a style sheet. You're going to add internal style sheet, CSS. Your first typing of CSS, you really just be copying out of the text, but that's okay. And then there's more instruction as you go along about the errors that you might have made. When you get it all done, it's going to look like, hold on just a minute. To continue, when you get all done, it's going to look something like this. You're going to have your regular basic structure. You're going to have added this style section and a head element, which is new for us. You're going to type in the style information. You really have to type it exactly as shown. The spaces don't matter around here, but this curly bracket, you have to find that on your keyboard. It's a shift on the regular bracket. Opening and closing the curly brackets. See, when I select them, it shows me I have an open and close one. Actually having a semicolon, colon, then semicolon in every one of these commands, colon and semicolon. You forget one, it's going to screw it up. So that style is all in there. And you'll have, hopefully, a nicely tabbed group of HTML, including you're going to use some BRs to break the lines within this paragraph from this address and time information here at the bottom. H1, H2, paragraph, H2, paragraph, H2, paragraph, close your body. Good. So you're going to have created this. Are you all done? You've just started, really. What does it look like? This is what it should look like when it's all done. Background color and everything. Fantastic. Let's continue with the assignment. You're not going to hand that in to me. Instead, I want you now to write a generic cover letter. You can do this in Microsoft Word. It has to be all-purpose. It's not written to a specific employer. Don't bother with the hi, I'm so-and-so. It'll have your name on it. I want 3 or 4 paragraphs. Describe the kind of job you're looking for, what your qualifications are, what makes you special and different. Don't write too much detail. Try to keep it realistic. You can say you're, in school now and you'll be looking for a job when you graduate in such and such a time. There's going to be a resume that goes with this, though, so you don't have to include everything. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of room for more detail later. Your structure should be the name, a subhead. This is 4 to 10 words that sums up something about you and what your goal is. And then 3 to 5 paragraphs, as I said. Finally, you're going to continue with these instructions. I want you to create a root folder for your cover letter. Okay? You can put, if you want, in the originals folder that goes with that project, the Word document of your cover letter. That's fine. I want you to download a silhouette photo from Moodle. There's a man and woman silhouette photos. And in the root folder, using Notepad++, create a basic HTML file. You're going to add your cover letter text into it. You're essentially going to convert. You're going to convert the Black Goose Bistro assignment you just did from the text into a cover letter. So you're going to change the image. Instead of the image that was supplied for that, you're going to now use the image. The image will be the silhouette. So you're going to essentially copy that file and stick your text in instead. You have to change the title, the H1, and the H2. You're only going to have an H1, one H2, and then paragraphs that follow it, not multiple ones. What is yours going to look like? I've given you, including more instructions to remind you to zip the file and submit it. I've given you in this assignment a sample. Let me show it to you for real. Here's my cover letter, done from this assignment. So the silhouette is now used instead of the Black Goose. My name is now used instead of Black Goose Bistro. That horizontal rule remains. My H2 is used instead of this H2, but there's only one H2. I'm not doing this rest of this stuff. Okay. Following my H2, I have 4 paragraphs. That would be fine. 3 is fine. 5 is fine. And there's some instructions in these paragraphs. Please read these in the attached assignment, the on-paper assignment. Yes, I want you to use a strong somewhere in there in the assignment. in the HTML. Want to use an EM somewhere in the HTML. If you want to do more than one strong, you may. It says at least 3 graphs overall. Check spelling and grammar, so on. Some other instructions in here. Make sure the one short passage in strong tags, EM tags, and so on. So there's instructions inside my little demo file here too. And I show you that in the HTML and a little bit of CSS still. It's the same CSS you had before. You just copy that from your Black Goose assignment. I put my image in there. I use man, you can use woman, or whatever you wish. I used a BR as we did in the earlier assignment. I did H2, which is my descriptive subhead. And then I have paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. I did a strong of some text. I did an EM of some text. I actually did another strong, another EM. You don't have to. And then I close it up. So you're going to save that work, make sure everything's right. Zip up the root folder. It should have the silhouette and your HTML file in it only, and place that on middle.